Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Doc Pressy. So, this afternoon, I'm going to discuss the different philosophical foundations of curriculum development, to be specific, perennialism and essentialism. Our lesson objectives are first, define perennialism and essentialism. Second, compare and contrast perennialism and essentialism. It is vital that one should understand first the philosophical, psychological, social, and historical foundations of curriculum development in order to make or develop a curriculum that would be applicable and relevant in today's teaching learning process, taking into consideration the changes that the process or the curriculum itself has undertaken from past to present in order to meet the changing needs of the learners. Moreover, the ideas that each of these concepts present is still widely used and integrated in the development of every curriculum. There are four major sources of ideas that serve as the foundations for curriculum planning. These are historical, social, psychological, and philosophical. The philosophical foundations may be drawn upon to develop a framework of values and beliefs related to the goals, the selection and use knowledge, means and methods, and other dimensions of education. What is the connection between philosophy and curriculum? For example, when you propose the teaching of a particular body of knowledge, course, or subject, you will be asked, what is your philosophy for introducing that content? If you are unable to answer the question, you may not be able to convince others to accept your proposal. Philosophy is the starting point in any curriculum decision making and is the basis for all subsequent decisions regarding curriculum. Philosophy becomes the criteria for determining the aims, selection, organization, and implementation of the curriculum in the classroom. Philosophy helps us answer general questions such as what are schools for? What subjects are of value? How should students learn the content? It also helps us to answer more precise tasks such as deciding what textbook to use, how to use them, what homework to assign and how much of it, how to test and use the results. I will discuss two of the different philosophies, namely perennialism and essentialism, that have influenced curriculum development. What is perennialism? Perennial means everlasting, like a perennial flower that blooms year after year. Perennialism, the oldest and most conservative educational philosophy, has its roots in the philosophy of Plato and Aristotle. Two modern-day proponents of perennialism are Robert Hutchins and Mortimer Adler. The perennialists believe that humans are rational, and the aim of education is to improve man as man. That is according to Hutchins, 1953. According to Martin and Looms 2007, perennialism focuses on the universal truth and considers that these truths are always valid. The perennialists believe that educational value are almost stable and they are universal truths, and therefore it is not necessary to change curriculum with such values. This is very conservative and inflexible philosophy in relation to curriculum. They believe that universal truths are not place and time dependent. They emphasize the same kind of curriculum to all students in the same grade. They claim that the goal of education is to teach the truth that is same everywhere and every time and for everyone. Therefore, the curriculum should be the same for every student. They also claim that every person is born equal. They focus the same curriculum to provide an equal opportunity to all. The curriculum influenced by perennialism includes classical knowledge that has been taught for years, such as mathematics, science, geography, and literature. The curriculum includes the topics or chapters of units to be taught that are universal in nature. According to perennialism, curriculum is determined by society based upon broad social interest. That is, according to Martin and Looms 2007. This philosophy assumes the curriculum as content or the subject matter and curriculum as planned activities based upon fundamental social values, norms, and practices. The perennialist curriculum. Based on the beliefs of perennialism, the curriculum proposed has the following characteristics. First, the study of philosophy is a crucial part of the perennialist curriculum. This was because they wanted students to discover those ideas that are most insightful and timeless in understanding the human condition. Second, at a much later time, Mortimer Adler 1982 in his book The Paideia Proposal recommends a single elementary and secondary curriculum for all the students. The educational disadvantaged had to spend some time in preschools. Perennialists criticize the vast amount of disjoint factual information that educators have required students to absorb. They urge that teachers should spend more time teaching concepts and explaining how these concepts are meaningful to students. Since enormous amount of scientific knowledge has been produced, teaching should focus on the processes by which scientific truths have been discovered. However, the perennialists advise that students should not be taught information that may soon to be obsolete or found to be incorrect because of future scientific and technological findings. Universities should not only prepare students for specific careers but to pursue knowledge for its own sake. University students may learn a few trees, perennialists claim, but many will be quite ignorant about the forest. Schools should teach religious values or ethics. The difference between right and wrong should be emphasized so that students will have definite rules that they must follow. Essentialism. Essentialism comes from the word essential, which means the main things or the basics. As an educational philosophy, it advocates instilling in students with the essentials or basics of academic knowledge and character development. The term essentialism as an educational philosophy was originally popularized in the 1930s by William Bagley and later in the 1950s by Arthur Bestor and Admiral Rickover. When it was criticized as being too rigid, in 1957, the Russians launched Sputnik, which caused a panic in educational circles as Americans felt they had fallen behind the Soviet Union technologically. A rethinking of education followed that led to interest in essentialism. Essentialism was grounded in a conservative philosophy that argues that schools should not try to radically reshape society. Rather, they should transmit traditional moral values and intellectual knowledge that students needs to become model citizens. Essentialists believe that teachers should instill traditional virtues such as respect for authority, fidelity to duty, consideration for others, and practicality. Essentialism placed importance on science and understanding the world through scientific experimentation. To convey important knowledge about the world, essentialist educators emphasize instruction in natural science rather than scientific disciplines such as philosophy or comparative religion. Martin and Bloom's 2007 state that essentialism focuses on teaching of the essential component of academic and moral knowledge. Essentialists believe that students should be taught core curriculum. Their emphasis is on high academic standards. They focus much on essential knowledge, skill, and attitude such as reading, writing, and computing together with many others. Who decides what is essential for a child? Is it the teacher, or school to decide, or the society at large? According to essentialism curriculum is determined by the society and teachers with mutual agreement. That is according to Martin and Bloom's 2007. This philosophy also views curriculum as a list of contents or list of planned activities. The essentialist curriculum. Based on the beliefs of essentialism, the curriculum proposed has the following characteristics. First, the basics of the essentialist curriculum are mathematics, natural science, history, foreign language, and literature. Essentialists disapprove of vocational, life adjustment, or the courses with watered-down academic content. Elementary students receive instruction in skills such as writing, reading, and measurements, even while learning art and music, which are subjects most often associated with the development of creativity. Students are required to master a body of information and basic techniques, gradually moving from less to more complex skills and detailed knowledge. Only mastering the required material for their grade level are students promoted to the next higher grade level. Essentialist programs are academically rigorous for both slow and fast learners. Common subjects for all students, regardless of abilities and interest. But how much is to be learned is adjusted according to student ability. It advocates a longer school day, a longer academic year, and more challenging textbooks. Essentialists maintain that classrooms should be oriented around the teacher, who serves as the intellectual and moral role model for students. Teaching is teacher-centered, and teachers decide what is most important for students to learn, with little emphasis on subject interest, because it will divert time and attention from learning the academic subjects. Essentialist teachers focus heavily on achievement tests as means of evaluating progress. In essentialist classroom, students are thought to be culturally literate, that is, to possess working knowledge about the people, events, ideas, and institutions that have shaped society. Essentialists hope that when students leave school, they will possess not only basic skill and extensive knowledge, but also disciplined and practical minds capable of applying the knowledge in real-world settings. Discipline is necessary for systematic learning. In a school situations, students learn to respect authority in both school and society. Teachers need to be mature and well-educated, know their subjects well, and able to transmit their knowledge to students. Okay, now let's try to compare and contrast essentialism and perennialism. So we have here the similarities and differences between essentialism and perennialism. So if it is an essentialism, or if it is an essentialist curriculum, Traditional educational philosophies, direction in time is preserving the past, educational value is fixed, absolute, educational process focuses on teaching, intellectual focus is training or disciplining the mind, composed of the three R's, grouping of students is homogeneous, teacher dominates instruction and student receives knowledge. On the other hand, perennialism, contemporary educational philosophy, direction in time is growth, reconstruct present, change society, shape future, educational value is changeable, educational process focuses on active self-learning, intellectual focus engage in problem solving, social tasks. Curriculum is composed of three R's, arts, sciences, vocational. Grouping of students is heterogeneous, culturally diverse. Teacher facilitates, coaches students, and student engages discover construct knowledge. Thank you for listening and watching my presentation this afternoon. That would be all. Thank you and God bless.